As the rain battered the windows of the old Victorian mansion, Julia found herself alone in the dimly lit living room. She had inherited the house from her estranged grandmother and had decided to spend a weekend there to sort through the belongings left behind. The air felt heavy with memories, both hers and her grandmother's, as she sifted through the old photographs and dusty relics. Late at night, when the rain had subsided to a gentle drizzle, Julia found herself in front of an ornate mirror that seemed out of place in the room. It was an exquisite piece, framed with intricate carvings and adorned with a smoky, antique glass. Gazing into its depths, Julia felt a strange unease settle in her chest. Her reflection seemed different, almost distorted, as if her own eyes were hiding secrets she wasn't aware of. Ignoring the unsettling sensation, she decided to get some sleep. But her dreams that night were anything but restful. She found herself walking through a labyrinthine maze, the walls closing in on her as whispers echoed around her. Each turn she took led her deeper into her fears, memories of past mistakes, and long-buried traumas. She woke up in a cold sweat, disoriented and shaken. As the days went by, Julia's unease only grew. The mirror seemed to beckon to her, its allure impossible to resist. Each time she looked into it, her reflection seemed to waver, showing glimpses of a different reality. She began to see things in the mirror that weren't there in the room, shadows moving, figures lurking just out of sight. The line between reality and imagination blurred further with each passing moment. One evening, unable to resist its pull any longer, Julia decided to confront the mirror. She stood before it, her reflection now a distorted version of herself, a sinister grin tugging at its lips. With a shiver, she reached out to touch the glass, her fingers meeting a cool, unnerving surface. As her fingers made contact, she was pulled into the mirror, the world around her melting away. She found herself in a nightmarish version of the mansion, where the walls seemed to shift and breathe. Shadows danced along the corridors, whispering dark secrets that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. With growing desperation, Julia navigated the twisted halls, her heart pounding in her chest. She stumbled upon rooms that held memories she'd long repressed, a broken family, a love lost, mistakes she could never undo. Each door she opened revealed a new layer of her psyche, a reflection of the fears and traumas that had shaped her. Finally, she reached a room that seemed to pulse with an eerie energy. In the center stood a figure, her own reflection staring back at her with hollow eyes. The reflection began to speak, its voice a chilling echo of her own. It spoke of regrets, of the pain she had buried deep within her, of the choices that had led her to this point. Tears welled in Julia's eyes as she confronted the truth of her past, facing the darkness that had been lurking within her all along. She realized that the mirror was a manifestation of her own mind, a gateway to her deepest fears and insecurities. With newfound resolve, Julia made a choice. She reached into the mirror, pulling out her reflection and embracing it. As they melded into one, the mansion around her began to crumble, the twisted reality fading away. She awoke in her own bed, sunlight streaming through the windows. Days turned into weeks, and Julia found herself changed. The weight of her past no longer held her captive. She had faced her fears, confronted her traumas, and emerged stronger. The mirror remained, but its malevolent presence had faded, replaced by a sense of empowerment. Julia realized that the thin line between reality and imagination was a fragile construct, easily manipulated by the depths of one's own mind. The mansion held a part of her grandmother's history, but it had also become a canvas for her own journey of self-discovery. And so, Julia embraced the duality of her existence, recognizing that the darkness within could be transformed into a wellspring of strength. The fractured reflections had merged into a whole, and in doing so, she had found a new light within herself.